In the ancient Yoruba town of Aderogba, where the morning cock crowed before even the sun had rubbed sleep from its eyes, there lived a young man called Akin Alágbára. Now, don't let the name deceive you. His name meant the brave one, but Akin's greatest bravery was promising people he would start work tomorrow. If laziness were an Olympic event, Akin would arrive late and still collect a medal. Yet there was one thing nobody could deny. The boy could walk. Oh! Akin could walk from Aderogba to the next village without sweating. If there was a rumor of free pounded yam, his legs suddenly developed the speed of a frightened antelope. The elders often shook their heads. This boy has powerful legs but no direction. Akin would laugh. Doesn't every road eventually lead somewhere? The oldest man in the village, Baba Agbon, would tap his carved walking stick on the ground. No, Omomi. Every road leads somewhere. But not every road leads where you want to go. Akin always rolled his eyes. What does an old man know? A road is a road. The villagers sighed. Little did they know that Akin was about to become the greatest example of misplaced direction in the history of Aderogba. Every year, all the surrounding villages gathered for the famous Festival of Opportunities. It was no ordinary festival. Farmers displayed their biggest yams. Blacksmiths received apprentices. Hunters found business partners. Young men found wives. Young women displayed their weaving skills. Merchants offered loans. Even kings selected palace workers. Anyone who attended with preparation often returned with blessings. This year, the richest cocoa merchant in the region announced, "I am looking for one honest young man to manage my warehouses. Whoever proves himself today will become wealthy." The entire village buzzed with excitement. Everybody prepared carefully. Except Akin. He spent 3 days debating whether to wear blue agboda or white agboda. His mother shouted, "You haven't even asked where the festival is." Akin waved dismissively. "I'll follow the crowd." Festival morning arrived. Hundreds of people filled the village square. Unfortunately, at that same moment, another crowd had gathered. Not for the festival. For a wrestling competition involving 2 stubborn goats. Guess which crowd Akin followed? Exactly. He saw many people moving. Surely this must be the festival. He proudly joined them. After walking for nearly 3 hours. Instead of hearing talking drums, he heard, "Me." 2 enormous goats were charging at each other while gamblers screamed louder than the goats themselves. Akin scratched his head. "Where are the merchants?" A man chewing sugarcane replied. "Merchants? My friend, this is the annual Great Goat Wrestling Championship." Akin looked around. No cocoa merchant. No jobs. No opportunities. Only goats with anger issues. He had spent an entire day cheering animals that couldn't even pronounce his name. The following morning, the village children sang as he passed. Akin went looking for money. He returned with stories about goats. Even the goats seemed to recognize him. Whenever he walked past, they bleated as if greeting an old customer. The village laughed for weeks. Ashamed, Akin promised himself he would never make such a mistake again. Months later, another opportunity arrived. This time, the king invited young men to learn royal hunting. Graduates would become palace hunters with land and honor. Everyone left before sunrise. An experienced hunter warned, "Follow the forest path marked with white chalk." Akin smiled confidently. "I know a shorter route." Whenever someone says those words in a folktale, prepare yourself. Instead of following the marked trail, he entered thick bushes. At first, he congratulated himself. "I'm saving time." 10 minutes later, he stepped into mud. 20 minutes later. His wrapper caught on thorn bushes. 30 minutes later. Army ants declared him their breakfast buffet. An hour later. He climbed a tree because a monkey kept throwing unripe mangoes at his head. The monkey seemed personally offended by his existence. Meanwhile, everyone else reached the hunting ground safely. By sunset they had completed training. Akin finally stumbled out of the forest covered in leaves, mud, scratches and embarrassment. When villagers asked, "How was hunting?" he sighed. "I spent the whole day being hunted." Still unwilling to learn, Akin entered the village talking drum competition. The winner would become the royal drummer. Before the contest, Baba Agbon gave one final piece of advice. Practice with Master Aditunji. He knows every rhythm. But Akin preferred listening to noisy boys who claimed, "Drumming is easy. Just hit anything." On competition day, every contestant praised the king with beautiful rhythms. Then Akin stepped forward. He struck the drum confidently. Instead of royal praise, the drum accidentally announced, "The king's goat has borrowed someone's wife." Silence. Absolute silence. Even the wind stopped blowing. One elderly woman whispered, Did the drum just insult the palace?" The palace guards looked confused. The king burst into laughter. Soon the entire square erupted with laughter. For months afterward, whenever Akin appeared, children tapped empty buckets shouting, "The king's goat has borrowed someone's wife." Poor Akin couldn't escape. One quiet evening, embarrassed beyond words, Akin sat beneath an old palm tree. Baba Agbon joined him. "My son." Akin lowered his head. "I work hard. I know. I walk long distances. I know. I always try. I know. Then why do I keep failing?" The old man picked up 2 sticks. He pointed one toward the village market, the other toward the river. "If you want fish but keep walking toward the market, whose fault is it? Mine. If you want yams but continue walking toward the river, mine. If you desire success but keep following crowds, shortcuts and foolish advice." Akin smiled sadly. "Still mine." Baba Agbon nodded. "Strength is useful. Hard work is useful. Speed is useful. But without the right direction, they only help you reach the wrong place faster." For the first time in his life, Akin understood. The following year, everything changed. He sought advice before acting. He followed wise elders instead of noisy crowds. He learned patiently before attempting great things. He ignored shortcuts that promised everything for nothing. When the festival of opportunities returned, he arrived early. Prepared. Focused. Walking the correct road. The cocoa merchant watched him carefully for weeks. Akin proved honest, hardworking and dependable. Soon he was appointed manager of the merchants' warehouses. Years later, he became one of the wealthiest men in Aderogba. Whenever young people sought advice, he would smile and tell them the story of the day he spent cheering wrestling goats instead of attending the festival that could have changed his life. The entire village would burst into laughter. Then he would conclude with a proverb every Yoruba child came to know. No matter how fast your legs carry you, if they are walking in the wrong direction, they will only take you farther from your destiny. Moral of the folktale: hard work alone does not guarantee success. The right decisions, wise counsel, and a clear sense of direction are what lead to a meaningful destination. Before increasing your speed in life, make sure you are traveling on the right road, because your direction determines your destination.